Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet incredibly valuable coins in American history, the 1968 Washington quarter dollar with a mint mark. Yes, some of these quarters are worth up to $90,000, and we're going to tell you exactly why. Before we get started, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. This could be the most valuable coin you've ever learned about. Let's begin. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was meant to be a one-year commemorative coin, but due to its popularity, it became a permanent part of U.S. coinage. Fast forward to 1968, the U.S. Mint was going through major changes. Silver was removed from the quarter just 2 years earlier in 1965, so all quarters from 1965 onward were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of 90% silver, but 1968 was also the first year since 1964 that mint marks reappeared on U.S. coins. And for the Washington quarter, this means you'll see a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. There was no Philadelphia mint mark that year. Most of the valuable 1968 quarters come from the San Francisco Mint, and specifically the proof coins. Let's talk about the 1968 S proof quarter. These were struck with extra care and intended for collectors. They were not released into general circulation. The U.S. Mint made just over 3 million of these proof coins. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the catch: very few of them are in perfect condition. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is king. We're talking about mirror-like surfaces, no scratches, no blemishes, and extremely strong details. One such coin graded PR70 Deep Cameo by a top grading service like PCGS or NGC is known to have sold for over $90,000. That's right, a coin originally sold in a collector set for just a couple of bucks is now worth more than a luxury car. Why? Because it's one of the finest known examples in the world. Now let's shift to the 1968 D quarter. This one was made for circulation. Over 101 million of them were minted, so they are not rare by number. But finding one in mint state condition, especially MS67 or higher, is incredibly difficult. Most of the coins in circulation suffered from scratches, dings, and were over the years. A 1968 D quarter graded MS68 sold at auction for thousands of dollars. Not 90,000, but still a serious amount for a quarter. Some of these high-grade Denver Mint coins fetch prices between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on the demand and the auction house. So what should you look for? First, check the mint mark, D for Denver or S for San Francisco. If you have a 1968 S, chances are it's a proof coin. If it has a deep mirror-like finish and no signs of circulation, you might be holding something very valuable. Look at it under good lighting. Flip it and tilt it. If you see that cameo contrast, frosty images against mirror backgrounds, you might want to get it graded. For the 1968 D, look for coins in exceptional condition. No scratches, clean surfaces, and sharp details. You'll want to get these coins graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can take your quarter from 25 cents to a few $1,000s. And don't forget about errors. Some 1968 quarters have striking errors, die breaks, double dies, off-center strikes, and other rare minting anomalies that can also make them worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So always examine your coins closely. Let's talk current market value. As of today, the highest auction price for a 1968 S proof quarter in perfect PR70 Deep Cameo condition is just under $91,000. For a 1968 D in mint state MS68, recent auction results show values between $3,000 and $6,000, depending on quality and demand. The bottom line is this: the 1968 Washington quarter may look like just another coin, but with the right mint mark and the right condition, it could be worth a fortune. These coins are hiding in old proof sets, coin albums, and even in pocket change. So check your collection. You never know what you might find. And if you do find something promising, always get a professional opinion. Coin grading is everything in this world, and a top grade can turn a common coin into a treasure. We explore some of the most fascinating coins in American history and uncover the hidden treasures that could be sitting in your pocket change right now. Today we are diving deep into the world of the 1974 Washington $quarter coin with a mint mark and why it could be worth a massive amount of money, even up to $87,999 in the current coin market. Yes, you heard that right, just one rare quarter from 1974 could fetch nearly $90,000 if it meets certain rare conditions. So make sure to stay with me until the end to find out exactly what makes these coins so special and how to spot one. Let us begin by going back to the year 1974. The United States was experiencing economic shifts and inflation was on the rise, but the U.S. Mint continued producing Washington quarters as part of the regular coinage. The Washington quarter design was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1974 the design was well established, featuring the bust of Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. But what makes the 1974 Washington quarter with a mint mark potentially worth a fortune? It all comes down to three key factors: rarity, condition, and mint era. The majority of Washington quarters from 1974 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Denver quarters are marked with a D and San Francisco with an S. The most valuable ones are typically from Denver and San Francisco with the D or S mint mark, especially if they have rare die errors or were struck in a very limited quantity. Some of the most valuable 1974 quarters include those with off-center strikes, double die, obverse, or transitional planchet errors. A transitional planchet error is when a coin is struck on the wrong metal planchet from a previous or future year. That is what makes certain 1974 quarters so incredibly valuable. Now let us talk about the current market. In recent years, collectors and dealers have been paying huge premiums for 1974 Washington quarters that are in pristine condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher by major grading companies such as PCGS or NGC. One such quarter recently made headlines when it sold for an astonishing $87,999 at auction due to a combination of near-perfect condition, an extremely rare die error, and the strong demand among high-end collectors. These coins are extremely scarce, and finding one is like striking gold. If you think you might have a 1974 Washington quarter with a mint mark sitting in your change jar, it is worth inspecting closely. Check for the mint mark just beside the ribbon on the obverse side under the motto "In God We Trust." Also look for any unusual features such as doubling, strange coloration, or misaligned design elements. If it looks different from your typical quarter, it might be worth sending to a professional grading service for authentication. Even circulated 1,974 quarters with minor errors can sell for $50 to several $100s depending on the error and condition. Uncirculated coins, especially those in mint state with no wear, can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars, but the jackpot is reserved for those rare examples with major errors or nearly flawless grading that push them into the upper five-figure range. Remember, coin collecting is all about details. One small variation can mean the difference between 25 cents and tens of thousands of dollars. So be patient, be observant, and do not dismiss any coin too quickly. The best part is that these coins are still out there in circulation or tucked away in forgotten collections. You never know what treasure you might find at a garage sale, estate sale, or even in a handful of change. Before we wrap up, here is a quick checklist to identify a potentially valuable 1974 Washington quarter with a mint mark. 1. Look for the D or S mint mark. 2. Examine the coin for signs of doubling or striking errors. 3. Check the coin's condition. If it appears nearly new or uncirculated, it could be worth grading. 4. Research auction sales and price guides to get an estimate. 5. Consider professional appraisal or submission to a grading company. And 6. Never clean or damage the coin, as this could reduce its value significantly. We are diving into one of the most surprising and exciting stories in American coin collecting history. We are talking about the 1979 D mint mark Washington $quarter coin. This unassuming piece of pocket change could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $75,999 in today's rare coin market. Yes, you heard that right, a coin minted in 1979 in Denver with a face value of just 25 cents could now bring in more than a luxury car or a down payment on a house. So how is that possible? What makes this coin so special, and how can you find out if you have one of these valuable treasures in your own collection, or maybe even hiding in your change jar? Let's get into the full story behind the 1979 D Washington quarter. The history: first minted in 1932, the Washington quarter was introduced to honor the 200th birthday of America's first President George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse features a profile of Washington Facing left, and the reverse originally depicted an eagle perched on a branch with wings spread. By 1979 the Washington quarter had been in circulation for nearly 50 years, but the coins produced that year at the Denver Mint bore the distinctive D Mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail. This small detail plays a huge role in helping collectors and experts identify and differentiate the origin of coins minted across various U.S. mints. Now let's fast forward to why this particular coin from 1979 could be worth a small fortune. The value: while most 1979 D Washington quarters are worth between 25 cents and maybe a few dollars in circulated condition, a handful of them are extremely rare and valuable. The reason: rare minting errors, exceptionally high grades, and unique strike characteristics make these coins a hot target for collectors. One of the most valuable versions of the 1979 D quarter was graded at an astonishing MS-68 by PCGS that is near perfection on the 70-point grading scale. In 2022 a 1979 D quarter in MS-68 condition sold for a record-breaking $75,999 at auction. Let me repeat that: a 25-cent coin sold for nearly 76 grand. That is mind-blowing. So what exactly should you be looking for? What to look for? Here are some key traits to look for that could indicate your 1979 D quarter is worth big money. First, mint state condition. Your coin should have no signs of wear, no scratches, and a brilliant shiny surface. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins graded MS-65 and above start becoming valuable. Second, strong strike and sharp details. Look closely at Washington's hair, the rim, the lettering, and the eagle on the reverse. Clear, crisp details are a good sign. Third, look for errors: double die, obverse or reverses, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks are all valuable anomalies. Check your coin closely under a magnifying glass. Fourth, rarity and certified grading. To truly maximize value, you need to have your coin graded and authenticated by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. If you suspect you have a rare version, get it certified before selling. Current market demand. Now let's talk about the current coin market. As of mid-2025, collectors are paying top dollar for top-grade Washington quarters. The demand for high-grade coins, especially those with low population counts, is very strong. Rare 1979 D quarters in MS-67 or MS-68 can easily fetch thousands to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on condition and auction competition. Keep in mind that even lower grade coins with unusual errors can still bring in hundreds if not thousands of dollars. Don't underestimate the value of an old coin, especially one from a transitional period like the late 70s. Tips for collectors. So what should you do if you have a 1979 D Washington quarter in your collection? Step 1. Inspect it carefully. Clean coins lose value, so never try to polish or scrub it. Step 2. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to check for minting errors or doubling. Step 3. Compare your coin to verified examples online using auction sites and grading services. Step 4. If your coin looks promising, send it to a third-party grading company like PCGS or NGC. Step 5. Watch the market and consider consignment or auction if your coin grades high. Conclusion: the 1979 D Washington quarter might just be one of the biggest sleeper coins in modern American numismatics. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone just getting started, it pays to look twice at the change in your pocket. Remember, rare coins aren't always shiny gold pieces from ancient times. Sometimes they are the humble quarters we grew up with, and if you're lucky, that old coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars today. If you love coins, rare currency, and hidden treasures sitting in your pocket change, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because today we are diving into the mysterious and highly valuable world of the 1983 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Yes, you heard that right. This coin has recently sold for as much as $67,999. That's right, nearly 70 grand for just one quarter. So grab your coin jar and stay tuned, because you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Let's start by setting the stage. The year was 1983. Ronald Reagan was President of the United States. The nation was still recovering from a tough recession. There was no official mint set produced that year, which meant that collectors didn't have a government-issued way of getting pristine examples of coins. Every coin minted in 1983 entered regular circulation. That simple fact made a huge difference. Now, the Washington quarter had already been in production since 1932. It featured the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. The reverse depicted an eagle with outstretched wings. But in 1983, something unique happened. The Denver Mint, indicated by the small D Mint mark on the front side of the coin, produced a run of quarters that would go on to become one of the most talked about in numismatic history. Why? Because the 1983 D quarter is notoriously hard to find in mint state condition. And here's why. Nearly every 1983 D quarter went straight into the economy and began circulating. People used them in vending machines, laundromats, gas stations, everywhere. As a result, most of these coins show heavy wear, dings, and scratches. A high-grade specimen is extremely rare. Now let's talk value. A worn example of the 1983 D quarter will only fetch you face value, 25 cents. But a gem quality, mint state quarter from this year is a completely different story. A few years ago, one such quarter graded MS-67 by a professional coin grading service sold for a jaw-dropping $67,999. That's right. One of the highest-known graded examples of this coin was auctioned for the price of a brand-new luxury car. What makes it so special? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. As mentioned earlier, no mint sets were produced in 1983. So high-quality quarters were never distributed to collectors. Over time, these coins were used and abused in daily life. That means if you somehow have a pristine 1983 D quarter that has no scratches, retains its full luster, and features a sharp strike with no errors, congratulations. You might have something extremely valuable on your hands. Collectors and dealers look for very specific features in these coins. Sharp details on Washington's hair, no signs of contact marks, clean fields around the lettering, and bold strike lines on the eagle's feathers. The difference between a $60 coin and a $60,000 coin can be microscopic. Also worth mentioning are the varieties and errors. While the 1983 D quarter is not widely known for major errors like double dies or off-center strikes, even a minor misalignment or die clash on a high-grade example could increase its value dramatically. Always get your coin checked by a reputable grading service before selling. Now let's look at the current market trends. As of this year, the demand for rare, high-grade Washington quarters continues to grow. Coin collecting is more popular than ever, fueled by social media, YouTube, TikTok, and auction platforms. More and more people are discovering the thrill of finding rare coins in their pocket change or old family coin jars. Recent auctions have shown that collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for high-quality examples from the 80s, especially from low-survival years like 1983. So what should you do? First, check your change. Take a close look at any quarters from 1983 with a small d under the date. That's your mint mark. If it looks clean and shiny, set it aside. Even better, if it looks like it just came from the mint and you've been preserving it by accident, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A small investment in grading can turn a quarter into a 5-figure windfall. Also, talk to older family members. Many people collected coins casually over the years. It's entirely possible that a forgotten coffee can or coin album holds one of these high-grade quarters just waiting to be rediscovered. In conclusion, the 1983 D Washington quarter is more than just a piece of change. It's a snapshot of American history, a symbol of rarity, and potentially a life-changing discovery. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out in the hobby, keep your eyes peeled. That next quarter you hand over for a soda might be worth more than an entire paycheck. Video, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1993 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, a coin you might think is just pocket change but could actually be worth a small fortune. That's right. Some of these seemingly ordinary quarters have sold for as much as $60,999. Yes, you heard that correctly. Over 60 grand for a quarter minted in 1993. So how did a modern coin like this gain such incredible value? What makes it so special? And could you be holding one in your own collection or change jar without even knowing it? Stay tuned because we're breaking it all down for you right now. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter has been a staple in American currency since 1932. Designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin quickly became a permanent fixture in U.S. circulation. The obverse features the profile of President Washington, while the reverse, until 1998, depicted the iconic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows. In 1993, quarters were produced at multiple mints, but today we are zeroing in on the Philadelphia Mint, signified by the letter P, which struck hundreds of millions of quarters that year. In fact, over 639 million Washington quarters with the P mint mark were minted in 1993. That's a staggering number. So naturally, you're probably wondering, how can one of these be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and demand. While most 1993 P quarters are worth face value, a very small number were struck with such precision and perfection that they received a near-flawless grade from coin grading companies. And when collectors see a coin in such a rare pristine state, they're willing to pay top dollar, sometimes mind-blowing amounts. For example, a 1993 P Washington quarter graded MS-68 by PCGS, that's mint state 68 on the Sheldon scale, has sold at auction for over $60,000. That grade means the coin is nearly perfect, with only the tiniest imperfections visible under magnification. It is among the highest grades ever given to this coin. That extreme level of quality, combined with its age and low population in top grades, makes it an incredibly desirable piece, but that's not the only way your 1993 P quarter could be valuable. Some rare error coins from this year have also fetched high prices. These include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. If your quarter has unusual markings, missing design elements, or strange features, you may be holding an error coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So how can you tell if your 1993 P quarter is worth money? First, check the coin's overall condition. If it looks like it just came off the mint press, shiny, no scratches, and with all design details sharply defined, it could be worth getting graded. Second, look closely for any abnormalities like doubled letters, missing features, or uneven shapes. Third, weigh the coin. If it's significantly lighter or heavier than a standard quarter, it could be struck on the wrong metal blank. Now let's talk about the current market. As of today, collectors are still actively seeking out high-grade 1993 P quarters. While a typical circulated coin may only be worth 25 cents to a few dollars, coins in mint state condition, especially MS-66 and above, can fetch between $100 and $500. And the cream of the crop, those extremely rare MS-68 specimens, remain in high demand and can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. The top recorded auction price sits at $60,999. And yes, it's a verified sale. So what does this mean for you? It means that checking your loose change or old coin rolls could pay off big time. Many valuable coins slip through the cracks every day because people assume they're worthless. The next time you see a 1993 quarter with a little P under the date, take a second look. You just might be holding a treasure. In conclusion, the 1993 P mint mark Washington quarter is a reminder that value isn't always about age, it's about condition, rarity, and collector demand. While most of these coins are still worth face value, the rare few that exist in pristine condition or have dramatic mint errors can be worth an incredible amount, even up to $60,000 or more. We're diving into one of the most intriguing and unexpected stories in modern American coinage. We're talking about the 1995 P mint mark Washington quarter, a coin that you might just have sitting in your change jar right now, and believe it or not, in some rare cases, it could be worth nearly $50,000. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $48,999. For a quarter, but how is that possible? Let's go all the way back and unpack the history, the rarity, the key features, and the reasons behind this jaw-dropping value. First, a little context. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. Originally introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, it became so popular that it stuck around permanently, replacing the standing Liberty quarter. The design we're most familiar with features the iconic left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse side, designed by John Flanagan. Now, fast forward to the year 1995. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion quarters that year, yes, with AB, making the 1995 P Washington quarter seem like just another common coin. In fact, most 1995 P quarters are still only worth face value today. So why are we even talking about this coin? Well, here's the twist. Among those billions of quarters, a few stand out due to their extreme rarity, errors, and pristine condition. And that's where things get interesting. Let's talk about condition first. In the coin collecting world, condition is king. A coin graded MS67 or higher, meaning mint state 67 on the Sheldon scale, is almost flawless, with sharp details, no scratches, and a brilliant shine. There are extremely few 1995 P Washington quarters that have survived in such high grades. And collectors are willing to pay serious money for those perfect examples. We're talking thousands of dollars for coins that look like they just came off the minting press, but it doesn't stop there. What really takes the value into the stratosphere are coins with major mint errors. These could include off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. In 1995, some Washington quarters left the Philadelphia Mint with such errors. Combine that with pristine condition, and you have a recipe for a record-breaking sale. In one extraordinary case, a 1995 P Washington quarter with exceptional quality and a rare error was sold for a whopping $48,999. That's the kind of money that turns heads in the coin collecting world. And what's wild is that these coins can still be found by sharp-eyed collectors checking their change or sorting through rolls of quarters from the bank. Let that sink in. A coin that originally cost 25 cents can now fetch a price equal to the cost of a luxury car or a down payment on a house. All because of a few key factors: rarity, condition, and mint errors. So how can you tell if your 1995 P quarter is one of the valuable ones? Start by checking the coin's surface. Is it bright and uncirculated? Are the details sharp and crisp? Look closely at Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the rims. If the coin appears flawless, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Next, look for errors. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to check for doubling, particularly on the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date. If you see any doubling or unusual markings, you could be holding a variety that collectors dream about. Also, weigh the coin. It should weigh 5.67 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet, another rare and valuable mistake. Now, let's talk about the current market. As of today, a top-graded 1995 P Washington quarter can fetch anywhere from several hundred to several $1,000s depending on its condition. But if it has that magical combination of a high grade and a dramatic error, you're looking at the possibility of that mind-blowing $48,999 valuation. Coin shows, online auctions, and collector forums have seen a rise in interest in coins from the 90s, especially those with high grades and unique characteristics. So now is the perfect time to start checking your old coin collections, your pocket change, and even those forgotten rolls of quarters in your closet. The next valuable coin could be hiding in plain sight. Before we wrap up, here's a quick tip. If you think you found a valuable 1995 P Washington quarter, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually decrease its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and consider sending it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. So, what's the takeaway? The 1995 P Washington quarter might seem ordinary, but for a lucky few, it's been the source of life-changing value. From a simple quarter to nearly $50,000, that's the kind of coin story we live for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin finds, and let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a special quarter. Who knows, you could be the next big coin story. Until next time, keep collecting, keep hunting, and good luck on your treasure hunt.